jamana janjunda birinda da Senegal fanan president Musolwa al-nimba Gambia muzolo dulale meneaday Janing musugana jamana janjunda birinda da Senegal fanan president
Assalamu alaikum, wonderful listeners and viewers. Welcome to another interesting show of the Gambian, brought to you by the Gambian Students Association in Morocco, Gasam, commonly known as Gasam. Gasam, as we all know, we are in in the month of March, and every year this month, we celebrate the wonderful role that the women are playing in our societies, in our nations. So, and every year on the 8th of March, we celebrate these wonderful women. So Gasam is never left, behind when it comes to these international celebrations. So that's why also today also we specifically dedicate this episode to our wonderful women, and we celebrated the International Women's Day. So today we are here, and I'm here with my panelists, wonderful Gazamians. Will be discussing about a very interesting, a very important subject, which is of relevant to modern days. So I am Seku Demba. I'll be hosting the program today, and I hope we'll be having an interesting, an interactive session within the panel here and also with our audience out there. So, you know, let's make it interactive, and you can be dropping your comments, your questions as we go. We'll be going through them. Yeah. So without wasting more time, I'll just have to go straight and introduce my panelists here. I will start with I have Lama Jallo. Lama Jallo is a BSc student in medical social work, a BSc student, and at the student at the university institute in Rabat. She was also a former social and cultural secretary. Welcome to the show, Ms. Lama. And also we have on the other side we have Miss Miss Fanta Toure. Miss Fanta Toure was also a former Secretary General to the association. She served as a Secretary General to the association. She was also a BSc student, master student rather, in in food science and technology. So welcome to the show, Fanta, Miss Fanta. And also we have our own VP, Miss Fatma Rajabi. Fatma Rajabi is also a master student. She is currently the vice president of the Gambian Student Association in Morocco, studying mass, public policy and governance. So so this discussion is going to be very interesting because of the caliber of panelists I have here. So I welcome you all to the Gasam program. So you can I'll give you the platform to greet the audience, starting with Lama.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hello everyone, Gasamians, those in Morocco and outside, and especially to our lovely country, the Gambia, those watching. I am Lama Diallo, a final year student studying medical social worker in Morocco. I am very excited to be here today because, yes, of course, I am a woman, and then if you know me as a feminist. So I am very excited to be part of this panelist today. Thank you, Seiko.
Thank you very much, man. It's nice having you here. So we move to the next other slide. Fanta, yes, you can say hi to the audience.
Hello everyone, hello viewers. My name is Fanta. Like Siku mentioned, I'm a master's student at the Faculty of Science in Rabat. I'm studying food science and technology. And Siku, thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to a great discussion.
Thank you very much. Nice having you. And to you, our own VP Javi.
Hello everyone, hello viewers. My name is Fatmata Javi. I am a final year master student studying public policy and governance. Like Lama rightly mentioned, this is it's going to be a very passionate topic because it's talking about something that is like we say, it's the trend and the current affairs of the world, women in leadership. And I look forward to having a fruitful discussion, seeing different perspectives from all the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Javi. And just joining us is Miss Saliuba. Miss Saliuba is a BSc student in economics at CETAT. Saliu is also an active member in one of the feminist movement in CETAT there, and she's been playing a great role in that part. So welcome to the show, Saliu. We are just starting, and you can just say hi to the audience and viewers.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am Saliuba, a final year economics student, and I look forward to learning a lot from this discussion, inshallah.
Thank you very much, and thank you all. It's great, having you here. So, as I said before, we are celebrating the women and also celebrating, commemorating the International Women's Day. So, for that reason, we brought to you this panel. We'll be discussing on a very important subject. So, the theme here is going to be women in leadership. Women in leadership. As we know, women play very great roles in our societies. Everywhere. Wherever you go, you see the roles that women, the monumental role they are playing there. So basically today we'll be talking about some of these things, and some of the challenges that they face, and what we really need to do, to help women excel in these whatever area of work they are in and wherever they are. So that is the subject of discussion today. So as I said earlier on, the viewers out there, you can share our this live show. It's Gasam. We are here for you, and as we always do, Gasam, it is here for everybody. Developing ourselves. Bringing up issues that the society really needs. And discuss about them, finding tangible solutions for them. That is all what we do in the Gambian Student Association. So, and we are glad that some of the other Gambian student associations outside, abroad and even in the Gambia are also doing, playing their part. So we are glad. So that's the subject today: women in leadership. So without much ado, we don't have much time. So I will just hand over to Sally to tell us, when we talk about women in leadership, Sally, what really are we talking about here?
Thank you, Sekou, for that question. Like, when it comes to leadership, especially in terms of women, when we talk about women in leadership, we talk about women who are breaking barriers, who are inspiring other young girls, who are breaking a lot of prejudice, stereotypes, and so on. Uh, the perspective of women in leadership can be divided into two debates, we might say. How women access and represent themselves in positions of power, how we see that is another perspective of women in leadership. And the other section is the second part is, do women lead differently from men? These two things are greatly influenced in the perspectives of women in leadership. Women are people who are the backbone of everything. It starts from our home. They are there taking care of everything. When men or when the males are not around, they are the backbones of everything.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will come back to that one. The perspective that the people watch women in leadership. That one is an interesting point, and I will come back to that. And okay, coming to Miss Lama, I know there are so many roles that women play in the society. So many important roles that which are encountered, but we'd just like you to elaborate on some of these, roles that women play as leaders.
Okay, so thank you so much for that question. That is to say that is like the importance of women in leadership, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so like women, of course, like we are important in everything. We are the foundation of everything. So just there are a lot of things that is like important of like in women's leadership, so that we cannot say all, but there are certain things that like we can highlight. For example, the diversity of spas- perspectives. Women bring different perspectives to leaderships. They have different life experience uh, of thinking, which can bring diversity through decision making. So like women, we are like diverse to everything, you know. uh we increase like innovations, like women in leadership position, they are often increased innovations, open to more ideas, you know. And also we are role model for the future generations. So all these things are importance of like women being as a leader. Also we have like addressing gender inequalities. So all these things are importance of women being a leader, or the importance of leadership in women.
Thank you very much. That's indeed really important, and as you have said, women are the backbone, of of everything. I can say that's really true, because without women, our societies, I don't know how they will be, because everything starts from them. They start, bringing up. They start bringing the bringing up, right? They start the bringing up, So there is a school, they will usually say, when you train women, the women well, you will, the society will be good, because they are the trainers of our own kids and all those stuff. So that is really important. That's really important. Uh, coming to you, Fanta. Fanta, do you have something to add onto that?
Okay, like just to add 2 points to what Lama just said, like uh, women is leader women in leadership rather is like it's important because like one thing I can say here is like having women in the both women and men in a certain sector creates diversity, like in that environment, and also it helps to reduce the barrier in between men and women. So those were the 2 points I wanted to add. Like one is like it helps to create a diverse environment, working environment, and two, like it helps to reduce the barrier or in between the two genders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's really, important. It's wonderful. So, our wonderful listeners, just to remind you, you are watching us on Gambian Student Association in Morocco. The final discussion brought to you in commemoration of the International Women's Day. So you can be giving dropping your comments in the leadership section, and in the comment section, and if you have any questions, you can drop them there. We will go through them before the end of the program, inshallah. So moving on, to the next point, that we'll be discussing here, as we are still, on the importance, or the roles that women play in the society. So I will come to Jabi. Jabi, you been in the police, studying policy making and governance. I would like you to buttress on some of the important roles that women are playing in governance and in leadership, all those stuff.
Thank you so much, Seiko, and I apologize. I'm unable to use the camera. But before answering that question, I would love to just shed some light on your first question that was addressed to Sayu. What do you mean by women in leadership?
Talking
And
about
I want
leadership.
to analyze that from an academic point of view.
Thank you very much.
When we talk about women in leadership and women in leadership, especially in the African context, that is something that we should not use lightly, because in academic perspective, those terms are not conceptually clear. These are generally buzzwords. I'm saying women in leadership. They are generally buzzwords used by international organizations, even governments, to promote their agenda. Yes, using these words, using these terms or themes can, yes, promote women's rights, empower women, but scientifically, these terms are not, these concepts, they are not clear. They are ambiguous, and especially when you talk about women in leadership in the African context, it is totally ambiguous because one, the context of the Western society where these terms are being coined and created is different from that of the African context. When you look at the norms and the traditions and the values, these are totally different contexts. Also, the term women in leadership, it's directly or indirectly linked to feminism. When I talk about feminism, it's the backbone, the feminist theories. This is where this is coming from. Women in leadership, women empowerment, women rights, and everything. And when you look at those, there have been arguments in the scientific world of what the Western feminist ideology represents and what African ideologies represent. So I just want to specialize, just to shed light on that. We in the academic point of view, there is few empirical studies that really explains what women in leadership is and what African feminism looks like. So I just want to shed light on that,
I
and to
think,
come
yeah, I
to
think that is okay. That was a very important point to buttress on, and I think the fact that talking about the feminism and also women in leadership also, I think these things are clearly different different
ex-
terms that people need to understand, and it's very
mhm.
important because especially when you talk about leadership in general, it's a broad area, and
Mm,
a lot it entails so many things that we need to talk about. That is really important point. Thank you very much, Javi. You can continue.
exactly. And just to continue on that, when we talk about women in leadership, generally, the general term of it, we look at it from women in political power. That is the general term we see women in political power. But in the African setting, like I said, women in leadership goes well beyond women in political power. When you look at it, there is different structures. Like for example, in our African communities, we see women who do tegla in the communities. They are part of decision making process. Why? Because those teglas are trying, those teglas or those community groups are helping them, how will I say it? Are helping them remove themselves from poverty. So it doesn't only stop at political decision making, but it also helps in the social and economic um, contributions to these things. So that is what I want to shed light on. From the policy perspective, yes, women are breaking barriers. They are doing amazingly well. I just have to, we know, like in different countries what women are doing in the political sector. Like I said, in the social and economic sector, women are breaking barriers. But from a policy point of view, we also need to analyze this because there is a term that a lot of unfortunately states and other international organizations use, which is institutional feminism. What we talk about, what we mean by institutional feminism is um, governments using quotas in their parliaments or in their cabinets for especially catered for women, but especially catered for women to show that, oh yes, we are behind women or we are here for women empowerment. But the question that needs to be raised at that point, does that really make a difference? Gender representation in government, gender representation, does that really make a difference? So I know I'm taking a long time answering this question,
It's
but I'm
okay.
sure
It's
I'll
okay.
come
You
back.
can go on. It's interesting.
So basically, that is what I'm trying to, gender representation. It's really, women are definitely breaking barriers, but is gender representation actually making difference in these sectors, or do we need to look at things from gender representation to merit-based representation? So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. That's indeed, really, really wonderful. Coming from you, Javi. Thank you very much for those wonderful points. Moving on, still, talking about women leadership. My next question will go to 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 Saliu again. Saliu is one of I can say she's one of the people who are really supporting and fighting hard for women in women leadership and in terms of the lifting or uplifting of women. So Saliu, again, I will bring you a little back to you being I can let me reframe the question this way. You being in an economist, I can say, yeah, you are as an economist studying economy, and also at the same time you are a female, so that's a good point to go at. So what roles are women playing in our socio-economic development as a nation and as a community?
Oh, well, first, I would like to correct something. Like, I would not like to call myself a feminist. No. It all starts with how this whole feminist thing starts. I am for what the term feminist brought to women. How women are achieving certain things through those those activists who call themselves feminists, but I will not term myself as feminist, maybe in between. And for like as an economic student who like the roles of women in the socioeconomic development, I think that was the question, right?
That was the question, yeah, in the socio-economic development. Yeah.
In socioeconomic development of our nation.
So your mic it's breaking now.
Hello, are you hearing?
Are you get? Yes, go ahead.
For the roles of women in our socioeconomic development, there are a lot. There are a lot of roles women play in our socioeconomic development. Like the development of the economy doesn't solely rest on one side or one gender alone. It's a teamwork. It's a side by side activity. So in from the grassroots in our like in the Gambia, women are really striving. Like when you see at the markets, there are a lot of women there. They are earning, yes, but it's not a lot, but they are still trying. They are still striving. Through those activities that they are doing, it's trying to help. It's helping the government, I can say, because like for example in Brikama, women as the vendors are giving tax to the area council, and that in turn helps in development of the market area or sorts of infrastructural development, little infrastructural development or changes in the market where they are selling. It all starts from the beginning. When, like for example, as a woman, as a vendor who sells like with a plate, for example, continuing like that, you open a shop. The next time you open a bigger shop. All those things are helping creating employment and stuff for women. So it doesn't. What I can say is it doesn't solely rest on one part. Women play a very great role, and when women are in position of power, they tend to be very attentive because of the struggle or a lot of things that they went through before reaching that point. They tend to be very, very vigilant of. You rarely hear a woman involved in certain types of corruption. You rarely hear that. So they play a great part in bringing clarity, transparency, and good governance in a nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ali. Thank you very much for those brilliant points. They're really wonderful. So viewers, if you are just joining us, it is Gasam discussing about women in leadership in commemoration of the International Women's Day, which happened a few days ago. Okay, so that's what we do in Gasam. We join the world, in celebrating the important dates such as this. We are never left behind, and we will continue doing that. So, as we are here today talking about women in leadership, it's an important topic and important discussion. As you can see, the panelists are really hitting on it. So moving on, I think I will go back to Fanta. Fanta, you can get us take us through some of the challenges that women encounter when it comes to leadership.
Okay, thank you very much, Seiko. Like for the challenges, the first challenge I will state it's lack of confidence. I will take myself as an example. Like in back in 2021, um, when I was wanted to go for this position of secretary general in Gasam, at first I doubt myself. Like I'm like, will I be able to balance my school and Gasam activities? Will I be able to do those things together? I think one thing we I'm not saying women in general, but most women face is lack of confidence. Like we lack confidence in most of the things we do. The second point I would state is maybe like balancing work and family activities, family responsibilities. Like most women, not everyone again, certain women they face like a problem um, going to work at the same time managing a family. That can be a challenge. And also when it comes to like speaking up, speaking up at times, like we have things we want to say, we want the society to hear, but again we are like we fear rejection. Like we will like, if I say this, I might get a positive outcome, something like that. We're scared of being rejected. And I think for now those are the points I have, and as I will listen to my fellow panelists. Then if I have anything to add, I'll just come in. Thank you.
I want to comment.
I think so. Yeah, you can comment. Go ahead.
What Fanta was saying is the lack of rejection. I think it all has to do with the pride we have in ourselves as women. We have a lot of pride. We are afraid of people talking about us in a negative way, or people seeing us, this person failed, and so on. That is what is in us. We have a lot of it. We have a lot of pride that is depriving us or from taking or from partaking in certain activities. The pride in us is what is keeping us back. I think when we work on that, we will achieve a lot. Thank you.
And I also want to come in and add that, especially for Gambian women, because of our conservative nature, we tend to take steps back, and that is even evident in different association participation and everything. We have that shy nature of that comportement. I think that is I won't talk about, again, I'm not going to generalize, but it is something that is in us, and it is evident. I can use Gasam as an example, that when activities are happening, when it's time to step up for different executive roles, we tend to see more men, which is not a bad thing, but we tend to see more men than women. And I think that is something we need to change. If we want to take up leadership positions in the future, it must start from somewhere. And I think Gasam is a platform. I'm always advocating for that. Gasam is a platform to continue doing that, to start from somewhere. And yeah.
Thank you very much.
I have
Yes,
to
Lama,
add
if you
something
can.
on that, Seku, please. Like the challenges, for example, I think there is one challenge that we are also missing, like lacking behind. That is like the mentorship and support from other people to support women. For example, women in leadership position may need struggles to find mentors and support system that can help them navigate their roles. So, like we also need mentors and other supportive systems or from people to help us so that we can navigate our rest. Because like women, yes, we are like we need more support. For example, we need more support to be able to do something. As my colleagues already said, like we are like we don't have confidence in us. So if you have mentors or support people that are support system that can help us so that we can have that in us and to be able to take responsibilities. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those are were very really brilliant points. I think the last point Lam mentioned is a very important thing when we talk about mentorship and all those stuff because no matter how good you are, if you don't have somebody to mentor you and somebody to show you the things, you might not have build that confidence in you that Fanta talk about, and it is very really important. So mentorship also plays a role. It's really important, and one of the things Fanta mentioned is about balancing work and family. That some women fear about, and that is true. Some people also you know have that conviction that women can't really balance family and work and all those stuff. Yeah. There is another theory or proposition that women are emotional, and when you give them some of the leadership, some of these leadership positions or some of those responsibilities, they might not be able to handle it handle it well. So, what do you guys have? Well, you have to say about that? Anybody?
Can I go in?
Yes, Jai.
Okay. Practically, practically, it is difficult to do things two things at the same time. They said beating the drum and scratching your head. You cannot do those two things at the same time. So realistically, it is hard to be working from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6, come home, especially when you have kids. Some women, they immediately from work, they go to the market, they come home, cook, for their family. If they have kids, take care of the kids, make the home, all of those. Realistically, it can be done. Yes, it can be done, but we should not fool ourselves. It is hard. We are not machines, and we get tired. I think that is the reason why we need to, in my opinion, look at things from a different perspective. Right now, yes, we are working very hard to get our degrees, to have good position one day in the government or in the private sector. But as a woman, it's our own situation is different from that of a man, because one, we immediately we get married, we have kids. So it's high time for us now at the university level to analyze what we want to do with our life, what we want to do in our future. How do we attain financial independence, to cater time to pursue our passions and what really matters in our lives? It's really important to work, but the question is, do we see ourselves working till we are 65? I'm speaking to women. Do you see yourself working until you are 65, until you are 70? you know, Raising kids. And that is where financial independence, we need to have, this is an advice for all of us, including myself. As women, we need to look at how we can attain financial independence at a still reasonable age, to pursue, yes, our passions, whatever that might be, and to focus or prioritize things that are the most important to us. So yes, I think I'll stop there for now.
Okay, Seiko, I would like to
Thank you
comment.
very much. Yeah, go on, please.
Regarding what you said, like if women are emotional or
Mm-mm.
Come again, please.
No, it's about balancing work life and family life.
oh, okay, I thought
I
I
don't I
heard you
don't think I
saying
got it.
about like emotional. The women are emotional.
Yes. I said that too. I said that too. Linking it to what that balancing work and family. So I said before, some people have believed that women are emotional beings. They are more emotional than men, and for that reason, they will not be able to handle some of the responsibilities very well when given to them. So, what do you guys have to say about that?
Okay, it might be true. Like women are more emotional than men. I don't know how scientifically if it is very true, or but what I know is like that doesn't deprive women from striving when they are in position of leadership. When they are there, it does emotions doesn't stop them. They strive. They lead in a way that anyone who is in that position, or and even if a man is in that position, it couldn't have been better. So being emotional doesn't stop them. Yeah, maybe in another aspect, but in terms of leadership, it doesn't stop women. Even for example, if you take in our schools, like the female professors that we have, just compare them to the male professors that you have. They are very strict. They are on time. They stuff like that. So a woman being emotional, to me, has nothing to do with how she performs in her position of leadership.
Thank you very much. That's brilliant. Somebody have something to add on to that?
Seku, I think I have something to say about it. I feel like women being emotion is that what makes us unique, different from the men. That is what I think. Our that emotion, that is what makes us unique, because like we are unique from the men. That if we take leadership positions, we are totally different from the women, from the men, because like we are naturally like that, and we already have that uniqueness in us. So that is what that uniqueness doesn't like make us weak to take leadership position, but instead it helps us on how to handle our leadership positions. So I think it's a natural thing, and it's a unique thing for us women that we are gift naturally, and to take leadership position with that uniqueness from us.
Seiko, I have something to add on
Thank
that.
you.
Just one on the emotions. I think that is our superpower. It's nothing. It's not a weakness. It's like Lama said. It is something to be proud of, because when you are emotional, when you have, yes, it's true. I think it's scientifically proven that women are more emotional than men. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's the general studies out there. Um, but I think when you are emotional, you are more empathetic, sympathetic, and you care about what you are doing and who are the people affected by that. So I think the balance of, but I think also as women too, and both men and women, we should be able to have both things. We need to be rational, and also we need to be emotional, we need to be empathetic. I think whether you are a man or a woman, we should have those two. Rationality is something that sometimes when you're over emotional, whether you're a man or a woman, it can cloud your judgment, it can cloud whatever you are doing. That's why we have the term cognitive approach, where that is strictly public policy, but we have a cognitive approach where you are only rational. You say, okay, one plus rational and pragmatic, one plus two, one plus one is two. But we also need to bring the human side of that, which is you need to be rational, but yes, you need to make sure that you are indirect, directly connected to your emotions and the people you are serving, having that human touch to whatever you are doing. So yes, whether you are a man or a woman.
Brilliant, brilliant point. Brilliant. It's great. I'm learning a lot from you guys, definitely. So,
Like
moving on
see
to
this question, sorry, this question have like brought me back to my one course that I do in school, like this social work stuff. There's
okay,
a psychologist that said like there was a time women does not accept, like they bring like this thing like women, they need like a social worker or like an assistant social that they need to have, like to talk to share their problems to, because they feel like it's the woman that like will understand their way of like feeling than having and like a psychological doctor or something. So you see, like, it's because this is the difference that we have. Women are so emotional that they may understand everything in, like, people. They can take it emotionally, empathically, and like they feel what others feel instead of like men. They don't have like that is natural in men. So that is they don't. If men, even if they are emotional, you don't see it in them. So obviously that is normal, and it's just natural like that.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Brilliant, brilliant indeed. So, also, when you come back to our society and our cultures, are there some of the impacts that the society and our cultures have that impedes or that hinders women's development in leadership? Anybody?
Can I?
Like society or
Yeah.
not?
Can I comment?
Yes, go on.
No,
Go on,
go
Emma.
in the market.
Yes. Before we go to what the things that are in the society that is hindering women's leadership role, we need to first recognize the value of women in our culture. I think that is very important. Before colonization, women were taking leadership position. We had female nakalawan queens that are taking leadership position, that are, before, I think we need to, as Africans, we need to go back to our history, and we need to look at the value, not only the political power that women have, but the economic and even spiritual powers that women have before colonization in our different kingdoms and our different empires. Yes, some of the things that the reason why now I can say the influence of women has lessened has a great deal to do with slavery and colonization. I'm not going to victimize myself to say, okay, yes, but I'm going to talk from an objective point of view. Slavery and social colonization has has destroyed the political, economic, and social structures of of Africa in different kingdoms, which has impacted up to today our general leadership, and especially impacted women and women development. That right now, seeing that we have here the educational structure and whatnot, that has directly impacted women, because now we have, when we talk about education, also with some religious values, religious, I would say, people, some people hiding behind religion, saying that, oh, women should not go to school, or women should not, which has nothing to do with religion, but has been accepted by certain people in our society, has definitely impacted women. So yes, women are the society in some contexts have affected the contemporary development of women, the empowerment of women. But when we want to analyze things, we need to go back to history and learn our roots and the influence and the power women had during that time. So yes, the lack of education that women go through now, girls and women, luckily during Yajembe's time, one of the few good things that he did for our country is to promote women and girls education, especially. I think that has helped a lot of people, a lot of girls, and also some people who use religious texts, and like you said, religious texts to hide behind religion, to stop women, girls from going to school, and certain traditional practices, of course. So
Um,
yes.
just to add to what Javi just said, like I think one thing that is hindering us here is like education is first. For example, uh, as a girl child, you like society will make you uh, will like people will like to try to tell you that like your education you have a limit. Like when you want to when you for example when you finish your BSc degree, you want to further with masters, they will be like, no, you lulu jarut ko you danga them say you woman danga them say jarut ngai. Like for example in the Gambia, most communities, like they will be like, ah, for a girl like to further their education, like it's like a taboo. The other thing is Jab also mentioned is religion. Religion also, they can use that context like to discourage women when they want to like get involved into so many things. And again, the other thing I mentioned earlier, it's confident. Like in society, one thing we have to know is like no matter what you do, there will be critics. Like like it just needs courage. When you have something that you want to achieve and you love it, just go for it. No matter what people say about you, just go for it. And that was what I wanted to add concerning what Javi just said. Thank you.
And I want to say something. Say,
Sajadi, you can comment. Seku is having technical problems.
oh, okay. Like some of the things that might hinder women in leadership or women to develop into leaders, it starts sometimes from the very beginning. Like the less privileged families will prioritize which child to send to school, and mostly the girl child is left out, and the boy is given the opportunity to go to school at the expense of the girl child. So that also it plays a role in limiting like the access of the girls had education and furthermore to a lot of opportunities in the future.
Yes, definitely. I totally agree with that.
To add on to that, I feel like these cultural and social norms limit women's in leadership for some. I feel like this is the most thing that limit women in leadership because it starts from the younger age. So if you like for example, if you have a lot of men going to school or boy a child given the prioritize to go to school, so obviously the number of girls or women that will be in the leadership position will be limited. That is a number one point. And then like secondly, like the cultural beliefs and values that influence the attitude toward women in leadership. In some cultures, for example, women are expected to submit and defend to men, which can make it difficult to take some leadership roles, for example. So also like social norms and expectations around gender roles can create barriers, for example, for women to take or take leadership positions. So they prioritize, for example, the boy child more to be in like leadership schools, leadership stuff than the woman or the girl child. So these are barriers or challenges like that culture influence on like women's being a leader or leadership in women's.
Thank
And
you very much.
sorry, I have something to add to that. One
Okay.
of the solutions to that problem, I think, especially what Salu and Lama mentioned, especially in the rural areas where one child is prioritized over another, especially the boy child, is through sensitization. That is something that the government or NGOs can actually work in. Everything starts from a change of mentality and a change of perspective. If that is done, then actions will follow. If projects or programs or initiatives are being created by government to sensitize and talk to parents about the value of educating both the male child and the female child, and the positive impact it will have on their socio-economic status and the social mobility of their generation or of their family. I think that will change, which it doesn't happen or just one time or two. It should be a continuous process to change because to change Sebara, uh, to change the mentality of something that someone has believed for generations upon generation doesn't happen overnight, but a sensitization process throughout the years can help solve that, can help remedy the situation. Yes.
Thank you very much to you all. Thank you very much. And to our viewers, you can send in your question, drop your questions in the comment section. I will go through them before the end of the program. I'm seeing your comments and I will go through them. So The connection here is having problem. Okay, I will come to your comments later on. I'm having some issues with that, but I will come to your comments. I will read them. So keep dropping them. Keep dropping them there. Right. Moving on. I think we have discussed a lot about the roles that women play and some of the challenges also that they encounter. And they have elaborated on the role they have been playing in the culture in our culture when even before the colonizations, all those stuff, and how you all have elaborated on how the culture is affecting and the society also affects the women in leadership. So let me try and go through these comments that we have here. So we have salam to you all from Kisima. Thank you, Kisima. Walaikum salam. Okay, that's from Asan. Good afternoon from Mr. Silla. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. Cheers to our panelists. Proud to be watching you speak on behalf of every female Gasamian. That is from our thank you all. Brilliant point, Jabi. The perspective is very important. It's everything. Thank you. That's from Malik. Interesting one. Keep it up, ladies. We are proud of you all. That is also from Malik. Keep it up, ladies. Love this. That's from our own president, Mr. Ture. My question. Okay, Kisma, I'll come to your question. Bravo, Lefi. That's from Muntaha. Enjoying discussion. ML Tijera. Thank you all. And Yaya sent a blue hat. Watching from Rabah, Keba Umar, thank you very much. Koku Moy Javi, they are pressing you a lot here. Well, you deserve it. Thanks you all. Bravo Lama, it's just natural from Kisima. Okay. My sister is making me proud. I don't know who's the sister. That's from Omar. I don't know who this is. Omar, there, you need next time be specific.
I am
There are many
his sister.
sisters here. You are the sister.
Yes.
Okay. Then my sister is making me proud. Great job, Segu, and the rest of the panelists. Thank you very much, Omar. Thanks very much. Abu Sen Etom, Kadia Sane also is following. And we have another comment from Mr. Tijan, our own member of G3. This is a very important discussion, and I am happy to see the great girls coming forward and participate. First and foremost, I want to know their standpoint in Gambian current politics situation and whether they have any aspiration to participate openly in the near future. The low participation of women in key decision-making organization institutions can sometimes be attributed to lack of participation in politics. And if we want to solve the problem, we need intelligence and hard work. People like you to participate. That's the way we will be, we will be able to turn the table. Otherwise, we will be here 10 to 40 years, talking about the same thing with little achievements. The work has to start now, and Gasam is the best place to start with. Please encourage each other now to take up leadership position in Gasam and start the journey. Women participation is key to national development and earlier they come in to take up the decision-making positions, the better, especially for developing countries. Thank you very much for this brilliant, contribution, Mr. Tijan. And you have a question there. I will read the question again from the comment. He said, I want to know their standpoint on Gambian current political situation and whether they have any aspiration to participate openly in the near future. So Mr. Tijan have elaborated that, some of the things that are affecting, our leadership in general, our development, which is retarding our development. And he lamented the the lacking behind of the this lacking of intelligent minds and brilliant people like they want to have in like my panel here. All of you are brilliant, So he took you as an example, most of the brilliant girls, women, and people are lacking behind. They are not participating in the politics and in the development of the nation. So he asked whether you people have any intention of participating in the near future in our politics. So the floor is open. Yes. Anybody?
Why not?
So he also asked, what is the standpoint? What is your standpoint on Gambian current political situation?
Mm.
What's your standpoint on Gambian current political situation, and do you have any intention to participate in it in the near future? That's his question.
Okay, guys.
I think
Tijan with politics. Why bring politics here?
Can I
Yes,
comment?
Javi, go ahead. Javi, go ahead.
Okay, to start with, Tijan, first of all, Tijan, yung munga binda kumande. Hello. But yes, first of all, I would love to answer his first question on my stance on the politics of Gambia. I think in my that's this is my opinion. I think it's a mess. The Gambian politics is really struggling. Our democracy, at least now, we can say that we have gone past the transitional phase, or we are in the transitional phase. I don't know, because it's very hard to determine whether Gambia we are still in the transitional phase, or we have moved past the transitional phase, because I know we have not consolidated our democracy. That is one. Two, um I think there's so many things that I don't even know where to begin. To be honest, I don't know where to begin. But what I can say, we are not all blind to what is happening in this situation. Not only in our political, but also in our socio-economic problems and crisis in the Gambia. These two go together with the insane increase of prices, the inflation that is happening there, and everything is just crazy. But I have hope that things will change. I don't know when they will change, but I think it's up to all of us here to make a difference. And
contribute.
yes, and to answer to his second question of um, whether we are going to participate or not. Pourquoi pas? Why not? Why not? Never say never. We are, I'm sure whatever we are doing here is going to lead us, whether directly or indirectly, to nation building. I think that's a really important part. It's not to, everything should not be minimized to politics, but we need to look at it broadly to nation building. When we talk about nation building, everybody plays their role in different sectors, whether informal sectors, whether formal sectors, everyone plays their part. And of course, we are all going to play our part in nation building
In different ways.
in different ways. Exactly. So the women participation, general women participation, I'm just going to say about Gambia, our attitude and our comportement as a general, we are very conservative. And I think, especially for women, we are very shy to take the forefront, or the four seats, which majorly impacts our voice and our decision making power, whether it's in government sector, or the public sector, or the private sector. But if you are able to change that, I think that is changing. Now it's changing. But I think it will change because the reason is our educational system is fairly young compared to other countries, you know. So we cannot compare ourselves to other countries that had universities since 19 Chongalong. But but with the advancement of our educational system, our tertiary and our primary systems, I think with time we are going to definitely, the leadership will change, and it will change for the better. I'm an optimist, so yeah.
That's brilliant, Javi. Thank you very much, for that contribution. And also, Tijan Mo mentioned a point in his comment. He said the work has to start now, and is the best. Gasam is the best place to start, and we have to encourage each other to take up responsibility and participate. I think that point also is very important because you cannot just be there and you expect one day just to come from out of nowhere to be doing brilliant stuff and hitting. You have to start small from a point, it goes little by little until you get to a higher position or higher place where you've already get the experience and you are used to to the things. I think that point is very important. So the people who are lacking behind, I think they should need to come up, take responsibility with Gasam. Start with Gasam, or when you are not, if you are not in Gasam, wherever you are, there are associations or these small organizations. You can get involved in it and start, your real experience. I think that will go a long way in helping us excel as a nation.
Yeah.
So there's one.
Seku, I will just
Okay, go ahead.
there's something I want to say about just you said, like especially in Kasam, taking up leadership from now, for example, right? Let me just say, I think it's kind of funny. Gasam they sent me like the invitation letter since I don't know 2 weeks back. I didn't see it because I am so dumb, like going into email messages and seeing them, right? So I didn't see the text. So it was just like yesterday, I don't know, day before yesterday, when the flyer was already like published. That's why I'm not even in the flyer. And Ibrahim texted me and he was like, "Oh, we sent you the message and you didn't reply." So I was like, "Oh, sorry," because I don't normally read email texts or messages. So like, but I said, "No problem. I have to like." It doesn't mean that because I'm not prepared or something. No, I will not do it because I just did the message today. I said to myself, "This is Gasam, and no matter what, I have to start it from now here." So that like I can say, okay, I'm not prepared. I didn't see the message 2 weeks back, so I cannot do it. I was like, okay, no problem. I will just go and do what I can do and say what I have to say and say. So it's like taking it from now. That is the thing that like Gasamians, that is what we should know. Gasam is a place that we can come and like practice on how to be leaders tomorrow and how to like be a public speakers and also how to be like self-confident, So I could say, no, I'm not prepared. I will not be able to do it. What I was like, no, I'll just do it because I have to train myself from now. So yeah, we need to take like position in Gasam especially.
Indeed. Thank you very much. And there is a comment here from Modlamin Kijera. What an impressive insight given by the panelists here. The importance of women in leadership can't be overemphasized. You guys have given points that are very important. Also, according to research in business, women play crucial roles in the success of many businesses, such as helping in increase. Okay, so has helping. I'm lost. Okay, women play a very crucial role in business. So,
So that's
okay,
something
helping in increase organizational collaboration and higher employee engagement, which leads to both improved financial and disciplinary performance of businesses. Despite the challenges, they always strive harder to be heard by the world. We all need to empower our sisters so that we can have a diverse work environment. Because a diverse workforce leads to an innovative workforce. Bravo and proud of you all. Thank you very much, Emil Kijera. A diverse workforce leads to an innovative workforce. That's indeed great. Thank you very much for your comments. And you can still, keep dropping your comments. You have questions, you can still drop them. We are here. So, coming to you, Miss Fanda, let's get to the next point. Let's advance to the next point here. We have talked about the importance they play, the roles, and all those stuff, and the challenges. I think it is also, after talking about, the challenges, it is important, to also talk about the ways that, we can mitigate the challenges and what can we do to improve women participation in leadership, or to help women excel in whatever workforce they are. Because when you talk about leadership, it's not just politically. Women in our compounds, women are taking care of children. In our societies, they are the ones building the society. In our schools, we have women there. So when we talk about women leadership, it's not just about political leadership. It's just very diverse. And there are things that we can do, to excel. So coming to you, Miss Fanta, what should we do to help women, excel in their leadership?
Okay, thank you so very much Sid, for that question. Like for the solutions, I think like society needs to help women. So wait,
I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading a comment. Go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry. Okay. When it comes to like, I think society need to play a role here, like helping us. When you see someone willing to become a leader, the only thing you can do if you cannot encourage the person, like avoid criticizing. You know what I'm saying? Avoid criticizing the person. Like they're very young, dynamic, young individuals who love to become a leader in the future. So please, society, we need like motivation rather than critics. And the other thing again, when it comes to like a problem I've stated before earlier, there is like family responsibilities, balancing family and work. uh, we need support from parents, like um, your spouse, like your husband, your partner. Like we need support, because like we can just say I'm a mother now, I need to stop work going doing this, I need to stop doing that. Like we can stick to that. That doesn't like promote a society. And the other thing is like there's someone, one of the panelists mentioned like finding a mentor. Like it's important to like at times we women, I think it was Salifu who mentioned this, Salihu, pardon, who mentioned this. Like she mentioned that like we have this like pride in us. Like for example, when you reach a level, certain level, you be like, I need, like I'm always there, I'm already there, I don't need a mentor, need someone to guide me or whatsoever. I think we have to put that pride aside and like try to seek advice and um, advice from people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fanta, for those brilliant points. Uh, yes. Anybody wants to add something to that?
And also another way to encourage women in leadership, like, is to that build skills for the female workforce. The male workforce and the female workforce is different. They are very different. So we have to encourage the building of the female workforce also, and to recruit women in positions of power in organizations or in associations also.
Thank you very much, Sally. Thank you
Can I
very much.
comment, Seiko?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah, I think solutions to that, before anything else, just like Fanta said, women in leadership is not to say that women need to be above men in any way. I think it's about collaboration. For women to excel, we need men. We need men to help us. Like also, we don't need to undermine and underappreciate the support that men are doing, even in positions of power, to help empower women, to help in advancing women's rights. I think that is very important to highlight the work that men are doing, either directly or indirectly, to support. and advance the women's rights and women empowerment and women leadership. And it's a collaborative effort, whether it's in the position of leadership, whether you guys are working together. Even it's first of all, it starts from the homes, whether we need our the men in our lives, whether it's our father, whether it's our brothers, whether it's our spouses, the people we are working with. We need the support and the help, just like they also need the support and the help. So it's a collaborative effort. Also, I want to talk about something that I think is really important, which puts pressure. Even I was reading one article that was talking about the essentialization of women. What we mean by that is um to put a lot of pressure in women, thinking that women in power represent all women. Women in power don't represent women. We need to understand this. Women are individuals, just like men in power don't represent all men. Men in power don't represent all women. This essentialization of women puts a lot of pressure for women, especially when they are working in environments where they are receiving unequal pay and yeah, unequal pay and very poor working environment in general. Women in leadership doesn't mean I want to read a quote, I think, which is really important that we all understand that. Women in leadership, the article that it argues that women in leadership doesn't mean leadership by women for women. If we want to look at that, we need to able to have a differentiation between women as individuals and collective efforts as women. I am not saying that women in leadership do a lot of things for women. You understand? That is true. But also we need to um, elevate that unnecessary pressure from women to think that, oh yes, when a woman is in certain position of power, she is there for all women, she is there for interest of all women. We need to women um come on, Diraj, can work with work with other women in a collaborative effort to respond to certain needs, to respond to issues that are facing women directly. But women are individuals, they are individuals and they have their own personal goals of career development and moving from self development and all. So I think that is something that we need to do. And a comment from Abu So, I think what you're saying, it's kind of unfair to say that girls should stop using TikTok and
Don't get me
Instagram.
started.
Yeah, Instagram, and start focusing on their studies. I think that is unfair because it's not only girls who use TikTok and social media. You find both genders using TikTok, social media in general. And I think it all comes down to personal development. Whether you are a boy or a girl, what do you want to do? What do you want to improve on? It all depends on personal development and what you prioritize on life in life. If you want to prioritize social media, Vazi, social media, some people are gaining money out of social media. It depends on how you use it, how well you use social media. If you want to focus on education, that's your own thing. It depends on priority and self development. So yes, thank you. That was why I was laughing at that comment. It was fun.
We don't wait.
Mm. Seiko, are you here?
In your life. Like, let us pray.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible now.
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. That's brilliant. Lama and Sally, do you have something to add to that? What should we do, to help women excel in leadership?
I would like to talk on what Abaka said
Mm,
first.
Yeah.
Wow, like to go.
Oh
Like
yeah.
someone
Okay.
using social media. Always. It depends on the person. It depends on how you program yourself. Someone can be on social media the whole day, but that doesn't stop the person from excelling in what he or she does, because he is referring to girls using social media. So it depends on the person, what you prioritize, and how you want to go on with your life. So you can be on social media and still excel in what you do in life, in studies or in work, in whatsoever. It's just about your priorities. What are your priorities? So you have to prioritize, and there are a lot of people who are on social media always and still doing great in life.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Abu, thank you for comments. And it is important. I think, okay, if you're on social media, Abu is telling you, I know, if you're on social media and not doing something fruitful there, Abu is telling you, to stop it and go and do something fruitful, meaningful. So for those of you who are doing wonderful work on social media, keep it up. It's all part of the national development of our nations. So it's great.
Um,
Now you want to say something?
yeah, for this, what we should do to help women achieve leadership. I think the first thing that we should do is to empower them. You know, empowering like women to take on roles for example, on leadership platforms. So this will have that empowerment first. Also, we should do like different how to community sensibilizations to organize and teach the community leaders to include like women in community roles and development plans. So I think this is also a good thing to excel women in leadership.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those brilliant points. And Kisima raised a question here. My question to the panelists is that is Gasam gentle in putting women in its leadership? If not, what would you recommend? That's a question from Kisima. Anybody?
Come again?
Can you
Can
please
you please repeat
repeat
the
that?
question?
Okay, because Kisima asked a question whether Gasam is gentle in putting women in its female in its leadership position. If not, you know, what will you recommend? I think that was it. I lost it. That was it.
Seiko, I think that question is, to be honest, I don't think I don't understand the question.
No,
What
the
does it
thing
mean like Gasam is being gentle in
gentle,
putting?
yes. That
That is
part.
If he can rephrase the question again, that will help.
Okay, Kisima, if you are following us, please, you can come back on that question, try and rephrase it, so that we will receive a befitting answer for it. Please.
For me, I think Gasam is doing great now. I think Gasam is doing great now, having like female leaders or including women in their leadership position. Because if you see the executive now, you will have three girls, three boys, or four. So I think they are including like now girls in their leadership positions. I don't think that is the question you're talking about.
I think Kisima
Okay.
will come and clarify that.
it's like us willing to do it. Like we need to come forward.
Let me
It's
see
like
what.
whether there are strict rules, but the way I understand the question is whether there are strict rules that Gasam should implement for women, for girls
For women to
to
come
take
on
part,
board,
yeah, to
or
take positions and stuff. But he has to come and clarify that.
it's better that way than we presuming our own.
Why
I
not?
think we can wait for
Why don't we
Christina.
wait for Kisima to reframe the question, then we
Yes.
go
So
Yeah.
ahead.
Kisima, why we wait on that? So we have talked about, or you have talked about very, very important points, concerning what really, needs to be done, to help women excel. So I'll put while we wait for Kisima, I'll put forward this question, you know, considering all those points that have been mentioned, and are we really, I mean, when I say we, I mean everybody, not only men, not only women, everybody in collectively, as a nation, as individuals, are we really doing, much, to help women, to make sure that to ensure that we achieve some of those points that have been mentioned? Are we really doing enough?
Do you mean
Siku,
what
sorry,
are we
I didn't
supposed to do?
repeat the question.
Yes, I will say,
Toward that?
from the point that have been mentioned here, which, concerning the what should be done, to help women excel in leadership. Various points have been mentioned here. So the question I just ask is that, are we doing enough, to make sure that, those, solutions or those recommendations that have been mentioned are realized?
Mm, okay.
To anybody who want to comment on it.
What can we do to realize those things? The
Mm,
solutions we mentioned.
mm. Um, can I come in?
Yes, please. You can.
I think the points that are being raised here, I think they are, or the solutions that have been raised here, I think they are solutions that can be implemented, but it's something that needs to come from the top. When I mean from the top, is it needs to be part of the priorities of the government, because as individuals we can do so much, but if it's something that it is a priority of a nation, we can it can happen. And the solutions or recommendations not only have to be solutions, but they need to be operational. When I talk about operational, they need to be broken down into different minuscule projects to be able to achieve one big goal. That is what we call in public policy. When you talk about public policy, for example, it's a general term, but public policy cannot be implemented. Why? Because it is huge. What they do is they put those policies into programs and projects. Programs are those that are implemented because you can be able to divide them and rational and operationalize them. But how would I say it? The solutions are good, yes, but are they going to be operationalized, and are they going to be taken into priority? Because when decisions are made by the government, they they prioritize what they want to do for that particular year or a particular period of time. Whether this is something that will be in the priorities of the Gambian government is another question to pose. And to come back to what Kisima said, if I understand his question, is he rephrased it and said, is Gasam prioritizing? Uh, Gasam prioritizing, what's his question, sir?
Women.
Fem-
Yeah, women in
Women in
particular.
leadership.
I think
Women
what,
participation in Gasam's leadership. Yeah.
yes, I think how we can do that first is, I know that I will not talk about it from a gender perspective, but I'm going to talk about it from an individual perspective. Whether you are a girl or a woman, whether you're a girl or a boy, or should I say a man or a woman in this case, because we are no longer boys and girls, um, you know what you are capable of, you know what you want, and you know what you want, and you know what you are capable of. As Gasamians, what we can do is to encourage each other to take up leadership positions, because I think it's something that is going to help us a lot, not only in our social life, but it's going to help us in our career, in our career journey. So, but all in all, it needs to come down to merit base, I think. Because as Gasamians, when elections happen, you come and prove yourself. And it's left to the Gasamians to vote for you. Whether you are a boy or a girl, it's left to the Gasamians to vote for you. But if you know what you are capable of, there is an equal playing field in Gasam for everybody to come and present themselves. I think that is the beauty of Gasam. There is an equal playing field for everybody to come. And a point that I wanted to mention is we've seen this from not only from a public or private sector point, or but in a government stand, which is institutional feminism. And I think that is something that we need to combat. It's a problem everywhere, but I think it's especially is a problem in Africa when states are using women just because they want to fill positions, to say, to prove to the international partners that, oh yes, we are behind women, oh yes, we are all for women empowerment, oh yes, we are all for women leadership, when in reality, when in reality we don't know if, even if, whether that is making any difference. I think that is something we need to really analyze, and to speak about it from a from a scientific or academic point of view. We have a general leadership problem in Africa. I think we need to focus on that first. We have a general leadership problem, and in order to solve that, we need to be able to be more merit based and not to be more quota based or gender representative based, to say, to put women um, in the forefront, just for them to represent or to be there to appear to everybody.
And for them no competence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's have to be on competence based, it has to be on merit based, and then we can talk about true leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really wanted to ask a question on that, but thank God that you responded before the question came. That is, giving priority to the women in policy making, all those stuff. So I think merit also is very important. So I think this more question is it's well answered by Gary. Thank you very much. If some of any one of you have someone to add on to that, before we move to our the final point or part of the show, you have something to add onto that. Okay. Right. So I think we have almost at the end of it. We have discussed very brilliant points and very important points have come from all of you. Ranging from what really is women leadership. What role they play in our societies, the challenges, and what we need to be done to address some of those issues. As well as what our society is doing, towards women leadership. I think those points are very important, and it was really interesting having you all here. So to conclude this, so I would just like you all to give the final words. Start since I don't think there are any questions in the audience before that. Let me check. Yeah, I don't see any question in the in the comment section. So I will just move forward. Pass it to you guys. So you can give your final statements. Starting with Lama.
Thank you so much, Sekou. This was an amazing discussion. Um, for me, what I have to say in on like women's leadership is like I think having more women in our leadership positions is not just important for women, but like it's important for the whole society and the whole nation. Um, it can take to like uh, how to call it. It can lead to better decision making, increase innovation, and improve organizational performance. So I feel like increasing like prioritizing women's leadership, especially in the Gambia, that is something that we need to look to. And then um, it's a very important thing that we need to look forward to, and then to see what we are going to do, especially in the Gambia, on how we are going to include more women and prioritize more women in our leadership systems, not just politically, but everything that we are doing in the Gambia. Everything we should include women, empower women, especially at the young age, the girl child. They should start it from there. We should not have the concept that, okay, I'm a girl, I don't need to learn from, because okay, when I have just like 25, or if I just have my bachelor's degrees, I'm going to be married, so I don't need to have more things to do, so you should not have that mindset. I'm going to be married, so I will not have to be like a leader tomorrow, so I'm not going to make more effort from the younger stage. That is the mentality of the society, and that is what we should not allow, especially as a girl or as a woman. You should like have the mindset that you are like you are equal with the men. Like I'm not talking about like gender equality, but like we can say like what they can do and what they can offer, we can also do that. So you don't have to minimize yourself on just on certain areas that you are not going to be a leader or something because of your gender or because of something like that, you know. So we need to look into that, and then yeah, that is what I have to say as my final.
Thank you very much, Lama. Thank you very much. Before coming to you, Javi and Panda, there is Umar Ture sent a comment here. First of all, I would like to thank you all for the brilliant points you have been elaborating. My question is what advice do you have for some people, both men and women, especially in Africa, who hold societal or religious stereotypes and skepticism in what women can undertake in the professional leadership world, political entrepreneurship, organization, etc. So Umar is asking what advice do you have for some people who hold societal or religious stereotype or skepticism in what women can undertake as the capabilities of women. So anybody?
Okay, can I comment?
Yes, please.
I think we've mentioned this point earlier. I shed light on it. This is something that it is a reality in our society that some people hold these stereotypes, these norms about what the ideal woman should do, especially in the rural areas. That is something that's prevalent there. I think, like I said, it's continuous sensitization. You cannot change somebody's ideology by coming and hitting them and beating them, or it's like, okay, you have to change your mind today, today, today. No, no, no. It's a continuous process of sensitizing, educating them, and making them understand. What I mean educating them is trying to make them see things from a different perspective and try to show them that by doing this, you will be the one eventually who is going to benefit. And I think when people see it in that way, they are like, okay, if I take my child or my girl child to school, or with that famous quote of educating a girl is like educating a nation, right? There's a quote that says educating a child, girl child is like educating a nation or building a
Educate
nation.
the whole nation.
Exactly. I think when we can use that, I think that's a famous point, quote that we can use, and we can be inspired from by changing the minds of um, certain people who hold these ideologies there. Because in some communities, I tell you, you don't dare tell someone to take their kids to school because of certain religious ideas, norms, and things like that. So it's a continuous sensitization, continuous education, and hopefully with time, gradually, in some cases, it will definitely help.
Thank you very much, Javi. Thank you very much. And mm, Malik Job said merit and competent based. Women shouldn't have to work twice harder than men to prove they are worthy of handling any leadership. But it all has to be based on who really deserves to lead and not gender. Gasam is proud of you all and keep inspiring other girls to realize that it's not about the gender but the competence. Thank you very much, Malik. Thank you all for your comments. And yes, coming to you, Jabi and Fanta. Yeah, Fanta, you can go ahead. You can give your final word.
First of
You
all,
have
I would like
actually
to
lost.
Okay.
Sally,
First of all, I would like to
go ahead.
thank Mega Gasam for this opportunity. Thank you very much. And for me, I will conclude by saying, let us encourage let us always encourage young um, women who are willing to become leaders, or those who are already in occupying leadership positions. Let us encourage them. Please, please, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and Miss VP, Madam VP. Huh? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank my fellow panelists for their amazing, interesting point of view. I think this topic is something that we can approach it from different angles and and everybody will have interesting points of views. I think that is amazing. I would also like to thank our able hosts, Seiko, for making this panel discussion as smooth and as engaging as it is. Also, those who are watching us on Facebook, on all the social media platforms, I want to thank you for joining us, and I hopefully we've learned from each other, and we are able to also take something home or take something with us when it comes to women in leadership. My final words, I think, would be on it should always be collaboration and collaborative measures. I think from an academic point of view, we need more studies and we need more research on what it means when we talk about women in leadership, especially in the African context, because we have few empirical studies that have been done on. Because Africa, we are a diverse continent and we are diverse people. Even our women are diverse. We are not homogeneous. We are heterogeneous.
Heterogeneous.
Exactly. So more studies need to be done, and I implore all those who are here, especially those who are thinking of pursuing their masters in different points of views, to not only go back and work, but to also engage in research. Because unfortunately, in Africa, we just consume and we never produce, and our research capacity is very low in different fields of studies. And I think it's high time we also do our own research. We should not wait for people outside to come and do our research and how do I the word I want, project their views or their way of understanding of our system, when we can do it because we live that experience. So yes, women in leadership is something that it's not as simple as a term to define. It needs to be analyzed, and the use of it should not just be a buzzword that we throw out there. Oh, women in leadership. Oh, feminism. Oh. When we are using it, we need to use it intentionally, and we need to know when to apply it and where we apply it. So thank you so much.
Indeed, indeed. We
And
know
one
what is
last,
best for we know
sorry,
our system. We know what is best for us.
sorry. I forgot. Please, Gasabians, we need you guys to come up and take leadership positions. Please, I'm begging you. I always advocate for that. Please, let us be engaged and active. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Javi. That was good. And Sally, you were a bit off. We were just wrapping things up. Just you can go ahead, give your final remarks. What I want to say to the general public.
I want to thank you for having me. I learned a lot from this discussion, and I hope I said something that others can learn from, or the viewers could learn from. And I want to end by answering or saying something on what Javi said regarding the stereotypes, that the question that Omar raised, the last question. Like, how can you break those stereotypes and allow women to excel? I think something. The Omar Toure's last question, like,
Yeah, yeah.
those people need to be exposed. If you are exposed, you will see that, like, in different parts of the world, they are allowing women to do certain things. So might be through exposure, the others, those people also will try to understand the importance of letting their girl child or a female in their family proceed in their educational endeavors, or in whatsoever that makes them excel. through exposure, there can be change. I want to thank you all for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Salute. Thank you very much to you all, and very thanks to our our special, viewers for following us to this wonderful discussion. It was indeed a great, a great talk here, and we thank our wonderful, media department for this wonderful for organizing such a wonderful, wonderful show with their boss, Mr. Ibrahim Ajejala, who is controlling the technicals down there. The word is indeed bravo to you all. And thanks all that's what we have for you. And until we come your way another time, it's Gambian Student Association in Morocco. Thank you. Thank you. That's all from us. Bye. Until next week. Thank you all.
Musolwa alimba Gambia muzolo dulale beneaday Janing musugana jama na janjunda Birinda da Senegal fanan President